Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is World Jenny's Day. We're up to part 7 already of this incredible program, and I want to welcome the star of our show. She was not with us last week because she was doing something really special and something that's really one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So let's hear more from JENETTA Barry, and the founder of the Epiphany Process and World Jenny's Day. Hello, JENETTA.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. There may be a bit of a delay. I'm sensing there may be, so bear with me if I come in a few minutes later. But we've got, as you say, so much to share, and it's just a delight to be able to share it for the first time on this platform. As I'm looking at myself, my image back, I see I did catch the sun last week in the plains and on the plains of Kenya. And so a little bit of background for those of you who might be joining us for the first time today. World Jenny's Day happens every 10th of October, and it's on World Mental Health Day, and it was created because I lost my 16-year-old daughter Jenny to suicide after she and I had an argument on that day. She died on World Mental Health Day. And we've been able to do many amazing things. Obviously, initially I was devastated, and really there were times I knew I wasn't going to make it. Really believed I was not going to make that loss. But I did, and that's another story for another time. But we've created so much through the loss of Jenny, so many meaningful things, and World Jenny's Day has become the ultimate. And we had a fundraiser last week for the 10th of October, which is a huge happening on the 10th. And that fundraiser was a bike ride from the start of, or just underneath Kilimanjaro in Kenya, right along Tsavo West and Tsavo East, through to the coast of Kenya at a place called Watamu. And we had 12 people join us. It's the second time we've done it. We did it last year very successfully. And 12 people joined us this year. And by the end of that ride, we had everybody saying, this is going to be big next year, because it was so successful. They cycled 475 kilometers in 5 days, past wild animals on dust roads, on tar roads. One day so hot that you could hardly breathe. And you have an option with this ride to not do all the ride. You can come off and go into one of the support vehicles, because there are backup and support vehicles with radios. So everybody's in communication all along that road in the support vehicles. And so you have the choice of saying, okay, I've had enough today, or I've had enough, period, and load your bike and carry on in the support vehicle. Not one person did that this year, including a 12-year-old autistic child who joined us, his mother rather, who did exceptionally well. We had people there who haven't ridden 4 years. One hasn't ridden since they were a child. And all of them just soldiered on. They loved every minute. It was amazing. So I'm going to be able to show you a little bit of that itinerary and some pictures that come from that day. So Dr. Jacalyn, over to you. Do you have any questions? What are your thoughts on this?
JENETTA, you certainly have a nice glow about you for sure. You definitely did catch some sun. So I love the videos that you were sharing and some of the images. It looked like everyone was really part of a community that was there for a bigger cause. And of course, you had Karen Dark there and some other people. And I'd love if you would just share, if you think about the overall focus of the group, was it they're there for exercise? Were they there for the scenery, or were they there for the cause, or some of all of it?
I think it was some of all of it. What really touched me with this year was absolutely everybody who was there. This cause was close to their heart. Something had happened in their lives that made them feel that this bike ride was so meaningful for them personally because of what had happened, but also because of what World Jenny's Day does. They were passionate about it, so much so that quite a few of them joined up and started a fundraising drive, each in their own name, to help World Jenny's Day, which was amazing. And that shone through, that their passion for being there was because of the cause and what it was going to do for them and for others. And it was a very heart-opening, empathetic experience for all, an adventure, I'd even say.
I love that sense of adventure and bonding. So I know you have some visuals that you're going to share with us, but for people who don't know, the gala is coming up, and you had this fundraising event in advance of the gala. Is there still an opportunity for people to get involved and to donate and to attend?
Oh, absolutely. You can imagine a gala that we're having in London on the 10th of October comes with a lot of financial expectations, a huge amount. And the gala is set up to change conversations around depression and suicide, filled with performing arts, and changing those conversations through being creative. And it's going to be a magnificent affair, but it comes with a high price tag. And as much as this fundraising has certainly helped, obviously there are a lot of back costs, like websites, and we had to pay for our charity to be registered at no small price. All those have added up before we even get to the gala. It's how it is. But at the gala, we've got some magnificent fundraising happenings, which will help us to move forward into next year and to create the Worldwide Benevolent Fund or Trust that we're in the process of making. So any part of contributing or being part of what we're doing, please do step forward and chat to me, because every little part between now and the 10th of October is going to make the difference. It could either make it or break it. It is like that with any charity. So we would really appreciate as much financial and hands-on help that anybody feels that they can step forward and offer.
JENETTA, thank you so much. I just want to have you explain something, because I think this is really important, because as you know, we get approached by many people. We're in the public domain and people are always asking for us to give and donate. What does it mean to register a charity, and what is the difference between a registered charity and one that is not?
Well, a nonprofit is pretty legal, but it doesn't hold much clout. You know, there's not much accountability and transparency required. So it could easily be being ciphered off all the funds to wherever one wanted to be. And so from the get-go, as we set this up, everything has been separated from everything else so that it's all accountable. But it still doesn't hold the clout that a registered charity does. And we've been registering this charity for some time now, but there's certain ways of approaching the wording in a UK charity registration, and we kept on having it chucked back by the Charity Commission saying, no, you haven't done that correctly, but not telling us what correctly was. And it got to a point where we cannot carry on spending all this time putting it together and then having it sent back to us and getting nowhere fast. So we have now, it's in, and we haven't had any exceptions, but there is a backlog on charities, and we're waiting to hear any minute now that we're registered.
Woo! Yay! Congratulations. That's super exciting. Fantastic. All right.
Thank
I
you.
always love the slide decks that you put together, the presentation. So let's get to it.
Okay, well, I thought what I would start with first is the itinerary that we had for each day. And we put it together very specially so that the people would know what would be happening day to day. Our challenge was actually that we had very bad internet on the way going through. It was better last year, and I hadn't bargained for that. But this is what we put together. And I'm going to suggest everybody get out your phones now, because you're going to be able to do something with artificial gosh, I can't even think such straight, but artificial intelligence and artificial reality that's in these slide decks, that you'll be able to see something that we affiliated with a very clever person. And here is, if you'd like to show this, first of all, Dr. Jacalyn, that's wonderful. So this is day one. And we had, first of all, a special CRED app. It was a mental health app that all the cyclists were able to sign up for, and they were given tasks and meditation, and well, it's a small type of relaxation each day and reflection, and it was brilliant. And in actual fact, we've invited the creator of that app to be with us on the Art of Mental Health Wealth this Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and he'll show you all about it, because it was absolutely amazing, and I was so impressed with what he put together. And he has a normal app that you can sign up to, but he especially put this together for the cyclists of the ride. Quite something. And then, of course, we had Karen Dark, who is a British gold Paralympian hand cyclist. She is a paraplegic, has been since she was 21, and she's now in her 50s, and she has done incredible things. And that's one of her quotes. So that's Karen. And then just to give you an idea of what we did, we caught trains and went by road. Some went by train, some by road. That's actual picture of the Mombasa Road there on the right. Then we got to a place called Voi, where our operator, operators, Chris and Janine Angel, met all of us. We all met at Voi, at the Voi station, and they took us to Zawani camp for our first night. And just a little bit of history on Voi. According to local history, the name of the town comes from a slave trader called Chief Kivoi, who settled near the Voi River in Kenya about 400 years ago. That's how long ago Arab traders came by dhow to bring ivory and slaves and all that sort of stuff over the waters and take them off to Arabia. That's how long ago it happened. And by the way, Mombasa, which is the port of Kenya, is as old as Egypt. It's hundreds of years old, the old port of Mombasa. And thereafter, the village grew as a trading center for the local Taita people with other Kenyan tribes and Arabs as well. And here's Voice Station with Janine and Chris, who met us there. And then they took us off into along the road, along towards Mount Kenya to the foothills, with their backup vehicles to our first camp, Zawani Camp. Now, this is where it gets exciting. If you get your phone, do you have your phone, Dr. Jacalyn? Because if you scan that QR code, and everybody else who's watching us and will be watching our recording, that QR code brings up something really magical. So if you go to your phone, hit your camera, scan, it says mywebar.com, and bring it up. And it says launch. And you allow it to launch and access your camera. And then pull your phone away, and you'll see that to the left and in the front is a 3D image of Mount Kilimanjaro. Can you see it?
No, I have.
No, the moment you take it away, you'll lose it. So go back to the QR scan. Yes, you've got to stay on the QR scan. You might have to reload. This is good because for our first try, other people will battle too. So you stay in front of the QR scan and pull. Once you've, let me do it one more time to explain again, just for some of us who might have missed it the first time. So you go on the QR scan, it comes up mywebar.com, then it shows you launch, then it shows access to camera allow, and then it says loading, please wait. And then it should still show where you are. And then you pull away your camera, and in front of your screen and to the left is Mount Kilimanjaro.
Wow.
Can you see it? Can
Yes.
you see it?
Yes.
Isn't that amazing? Absolutely
incredible.
amazing. So that's what they got
What's
when
that
they got.
called?
Pardon?
What is that called, that technology?
That's artificial reality.
Reality. Okay.
Yeah,
Really
artificial
cool.
reality in 3D. So that's the first thing they got. They got to lunch at Zawani, and they got to see that to begin with. And then here, Zawani offers uniquely personal adventures under the shadow of Mount Kilimanjaro, on the edge of one of Kenya's least explored parks. And it's located on a 30,000-acre private farm on the western edge of Tsavo West National Park. In fact, it's owned by the ex-president of Kenya. And he's often there when one goes. He wasn't there that time. And that dam that you see in that picture is filled with hippo and crocs. So as we were sitting underneath the buildings there having lunch, the hippos were making their noises. It was quite spectacular. And there we have, there's another view of it with an actual hippo I put in front to show. Then we settled into our ensuite tents, and as you can see, they're amazing. Everybody was going, oh, these are fantastic. So they're canvas walls and net windows so that the mosquitoes can't get in, and a beautiful ensuite bathroom. Isn't that fantastic? Just so special. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then game drive in the late afternoon, and then we had a bike ride, fitting up bikes to people, and a sundowners ride. And then we had the Maasai do a dance. So I'm going to go through this quickly because I'm going to show you where we actually were in actuality. We departed after breakfast for World War I battlefield's famous sniper baobab tree, but because we had a bigger group with Karen and her bike, we didn't actually get to the tree this year, but there's a huge First World War history of Tanzania, or then in those days in the First World War, it was known as Tanganyika and Kenya, because Tanganyika was a German protectorate and Kenya was a British, and they went to war at the border post, and that tree is involved. And Chris was able to tell everybody about the Germans and the British and what happened in this African bush in the war. There's all the going along the road. There's dirt road and tar road, and we got, also on the way, we passed the very original airstrip where the Out of Africa film with Meryl Streep and Robert Redford was based on, and the history of Dennis Finch Hatton, which Robert Redford played, his aeroplane, and it was an aeroplane like that one, would have landed at this very first airstrip in Kenya in those times, and you cycle past it. as we get to Taita Hills, and Taita Hills Lodge for lunch took us, everybody went right through the history museum within the hotel, within the lodge, telling what happened between the Germans and the British during that time and how other communities were involved, the Indian community and the local Africans. The King's African Rifles were Kenyan Africans who, they were amazing, just such an amazing thing. And this on the right, by the way, is a dummy aircraft gun to fool, that was made by the Germans to fool the British that they thought there was aircraft shooting at them. Then we transferred to Salt Lick Lodge. Just look at that. And those are rooms there. And the piece in the middle is where we have our lunch and dinner. And in fact, that picture is from my room last year of Elephants Bay, where you have lunch and dinner. And we had sundowners again, and we slept at Salt Lick Lodge. So that was that one. And if you scan the next one, let's see what it gives us. So open your phones again, go to My Wee Bar, launch, allow the camera, wait for it to load, and pull back your phone again. And look if you've got on your laptop, it'll be sitting, waving its ears on your
it's an elephant.
I love it. And it's moving and flapping its ears and everything. Isn't that super cool?
That's great.
Absolutely amazing. And then the third day, itinerary day 3, we headed back to Voi where we'd all met, but a little bit south of Voi to the sisal plantations. Now, everybody was asking me, what are sisal plantations? And we won't read all of this, but sisal is the fiber that makes rope. And it comes originally from South America. It was introduced to Kenya in 1914. It makes paper, cloth, footwear, hats, bags, carpets, geotextiles, and even dartboards are made from sisal. And it lost its market in the 60s and 70s when nylon fiber came out, and it almost died away. All the farms shut down. And of course, it's back in pure abundance because people are not using artificial fiber anymore. And so it's really, the plantations are quite something. And we went on to Hildana within a sisal farm. This lodge is on the sisal farm, and the Kyriakis family own this farm, and they've set this beautiful, it's like a boutique lodge. It was such a haven to come and stay at. And here's another one. This is Arabic influence in the lodge. For centuries, Arabian and Persian traders traveled to ancient Mombasa by dhow using the monsoon winds. Many settled over the years and intermarried with the Swahili tribe. So this lodge has a lot of Arabic and African decor attached to it. It's really very, very special. So if you just going to move this a little bit. If you scan it again, you'll see it brings you, and you launch it and allow, pull it back.
One step behind. Okay, I don't want to miss out.
Have a look at that. To do with Africana.
Oh, it's a drum.
It's a drum.
And it's like right here. It's so big. It's amazing.
It looks like you could actually beat on it. And there's the watering hole at Hildana. We'll show you a little bit more. Look at that decor inside. This was actually done by a very special friend of mine, friend and client, Mandy Parkinson. Beautifully done, beautifully. And there's an infinity pool there that overlooks, so you can see the elephant safely whilst you're swimming. It's just amazing, very special. And then we had sundowners at the rock, which I'll show you a little bit later. And then we came back for dinner, and that was the view. When we got back, there's dinner time. Look at it, it's absolutely magical. So that was day 3. Day 4, here we go. We've got another scan if you want to partake. Have a look. Launch it again, allow your camera, and then
It's
pull
a
out.
zebra.
And
Wow,
he's
it's all
actually,
over the place.
yes, he's stamping and moving his head and
So
wagging his
cool.
tail. Isn't that so
It's
special?
so nice. Love it.
So that was that day. And then after breakfast, we started cycling to Mount Casigao. And there's a little bit of history here. The Taita Hills were formed more than 100 million years ago. About 30 million years ago, the area was covered by forest. Now it's savanna, leaving the mountain ranges as islands, where the tropical forests continue to flourish on the mountains. And the isolation of each mountain range has led to a very diverse flora and fauna. And some of the other mountain ranges are so well forested. And the Taita Hills retain just 6 square kilometers of forest. And here it was a more gentle ride downhill for one of the nicest rides you could ever ride in Africa. This was us last year with Mount Kasago behind us. And a little bit about the man-eaters of Tsavo I included in here, because in the building of the railway, there were 2 man-eating lions, and they reckon they got the taste for blood from Arab slave traders bringing people through. And whilst they were building the Uganda Railway and they got to Tsavo, these lions were taking people out of carriages, workers, and eating them. And they were finally shot dead by Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, and they are actually on display in Chicago Museum in Illinois, the Museum of Natural History. They're there now. So a little bit there, and then we crossed over the Mombasa Road that divides Tsavo West from Tsavo East, and this was a little bit about where it was separated decades ago, along a line coinciding with the Mombasa Highway. And there's flat to undulating hills and scattered bush of Tsavo East National Park, and the much more wooded hilly landscapes dotted with volcanic cones and dramatic black lava in west. And in fact, Tsavo East becomes semi-arid. It's almost desert. So the 2 game parks are really one, but you wouldn't believe it because they just changed so drastically. And then we went to Sitao Camp, and that night we had very, very little coverage internet-wise. It was quite difficult to get anything done. And in fact, it was pretty bad throughout, but it was really bad here. It was non-existent. And there's the mess tent that we all had dinner at in the evening, just so beautiful. Oh, it was amazing, amazing, amazing. And then the next day, itinerary 5, here we go. We've got another. Here we go. Bring it out. And to the right, you've got another creature. Can you see him, Dr. Jacalyn?
Is it a rhino?
Yes, it's a rhino.
Yes, so cool.
And moving his head around a bit. Then we cycled through Tsavo East's open plains and went on. Here's the other scan, the archaeology of the area. So this scan is of an ancient, well, I won't tell you yet. I'll let you find out. It's actually let's see if it comes up. Come on. There's a good boy. Come and, oh, he's on top of my laptop screen. It's a saber-toothed lion.
Oh, yes. That's incredible. I love how the animals are in all different places on the screen. How do they do that? And he's running.
Yeah, he's running as well. Jamie did this. He's gone extinct. He's gone extinct.
That's incredible.
So there's just a little bit of history about Tsavo. I thought that would make it more interesting. And then we went on to the Gala River where there are crocodiles. And you've got another scan here. Look at this one. and pull him out. And here he is right in front of the scan.
It's an alligator or crocodile?
Crocodile, yeah. We don't have alligators in Africa, but we definitely have African crocodiles.
Hmm.
So there you go. There's another one.
What's the difference? Do you know?
I once upon a time did, and I forget now.
Okay,
Not
that's another
entirely
show.
sure. Another show. And there's Kalali's view of the Galana River. That's where we were at night in tents, beautiful tents, and relaxing after our day's ride. That's the lounge and the bar and the dining room there. And there's also a little pool there to get cooled down in, because it was a very hot day that day. Day 6, that's a Sokoke cat, by the way. It looks like a domestic cat. It's the size of a domestic cat, but it's a wild cat, and its markings are very much distinct. You can see it's almost like a python. It's amazing. So we went to the edge of the Sokoke forest that day, and a little bit on the Sokoke cat and what they're all about. It's long legs, short hair, coarse hair, and typically a tabby coat. Those specific lineages have proved different appearances. So that's that one. And here's another scan to have a look at. My wee bar. And launch it and allow the camera. And
There it is.
what is it?
Is it a jaguar?
It's a leopard.
A leopard. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, well, it's the screen. He's put it quite big on the screen, but it's a leopard.
I love
And
it.
then here we had a road lunch on this day, and then went through to Watamu and arrived at Watamu, which is a small coastal town in Kenya, north of Mombasa, known for Watamu Marine National Park and Reserve, has 3 bays, Watamu, Blue Lagoon, and Turtle. And this year, we didn't go to ocean sports, we went to Turtle Bay Resort. There are sandy beaches, coral gardens, defining features, seabirds, as well as green and hawksbill turtles, which inhabit Maida Creek, and its sand flats and mangrove forests. And of course, the Sokoke forest is just inland from there. So that was, there's a bit of a history here of how Watamu currently became what it is today. But there's even more. I mean, there's Gedi ruins, which is ruins that were abandoned overnight hundreds of years ago. They couldn't work out. I reckon the Arab traders got them and took them off, but the whole everything, meal bowls were out, meals were out. There was no reason for it to be abandoned, and it's there still. You can actually visit it. But here, first of all, before I go into this, actually maybe afterwards, and that one too. So these are the bikes arriving at Zowani before we arrived. They arrived a couple of weeks before, actually, in preparation. And that night, after kitting up with our bikes, we had the Maasai's dance at our dinner table. Now, if you have a look at that Maasai, they can jump. They just jump so high. They're tall as it is, and they're busy chanting there. They're chanting there for a circumcision song, male circumcision song. So we got them.
It's
and
amazing.
yeah,
How far off the ground? 3 feet, 4 feet?
easily. Sometimes as high as their height. That was me catching him coming or going up or coming down. I can't remember, but he was higher than that.
It's
quite
amazing. He's
something.
not even using his arms to get up.
No, and hardly using the legs. I don't know how they do it, really. And they were chanting, "Hoo, hoo, hoo," and dancing around the file. And it just shows you how similar the ancients are in their rituals, really, whether it's a Native American Indian or Aboriginal or whatever. There's so many similarities with what they do. It's just amazing. And then the lights went off for a few minutes, and it allowed us to see the moon and the island. There are hippos in that water. This is us sitting there. So I thought it was a lovely one to capture. Then the next day we had Karen in her bike. Now that bike, she brought two bikes, one for this and one for the Kilimanjaro climb she's doing at the moment. That bike's not made for this terrain. It's actually an on-road racing bike that she used for a lot of her racing. And she brought it and said, I will manage it. And my goodness, manage it she did. She was amazing. She kept getting stuck in the early stages in very deep, dusty dusty road, not even sand. It's very fine dust road, and they'd have to push her out. She was amazing, absolutely amazing. And here's Chris Angel. It looks like he's doing a ballet movement there. He's briefing everybody. To the left there is Kev Benstead, who was Karen's backup man. And then also with her were our two filmmakers, Cheryl and Mike. But he's briefing everybody there, saying, if an animal comes out and he's in your path, this is what you do. And this is what we do with our backup vehicles. And provided you listen to me, everything will be fine. And of course, everybody listened and everything was fine and nothing untoward happened. But he does give a briefing to begin with. And
JENETTA,
that's them. Yeah.
I have a question about Karen. So since she's so low to the road and there is all that dust, does she wear a mask when she's bicycling? How does she keep from inhaling all that?
You should have seen her. She was bright red at the first stop. She looked so funny. And the other thing is that when the tar road got very hot, I can imagine she must have been frying on that road, absolutely frying. And in this picture, if you have a look, that's our young Mikey, who's 12 years old and autistic on his bike. His mum, he's looking and talking to his mum, Lisa. Both of them have been very special with me over 6 years. They've been my clients, and they braved it and came all the way from Australia to do this bike ride. And Lisa was going, oh, I'm only going to do a little bit every day, just a little bit. Mikey wasn't sure what he was going to manage. This man in the front is from Kenya, and the two girls to the side are actually from Malawi, but now Kenya. There on the far right is one of the backup vehicle men helping with the bike, helping people. And it was just amazing to watch. And you can see the local children watching, what's going on here, over by one of the backup vehicles. And then here we go. You can't see Mount Kilimanjaro, but it was quite clear in that picture, but it hasn't come out, so I'm not sure why. Here we're on the tar road. There were two young boys that also helped the backup of 15. That's Aid and Harry's. The Harry's family are a very old family from Kenya. They've been here several generations. And the other one was Chris and Janine Angel's grandson, who is Alistair Froome, who is Chris Froome's nephew. For those of you who don't know, Chris Froome has won for Britain the Tour de France, I think it's 2-3 times. He took over from, what's his name, Lance Armstrong in winning. So Alistair was with us. He was with us last year as well. And this here is Patrick. Patrick was one of our Kenyan participants, and he's busy talking with Karen. This is one of our rest stops with lots of fruit and water and nuts to keep people's energy up and refreshed and so on. And then here's Lisa and Michael at Salt Lake Lodge playing around, because in the background is Jonathan Chown, one of our participants, and they're fooling around. He photobombed them, and that's at night. That's one of Lisa's photos with the elephants right nearby, drinking. And then the next day, we ended up in the sisal plantations that I was talking. We got to Hildana. There's Hildana with the elephants. And then we went for drinks at a platform some way away with a watering hole as the sun was going down. Look at the color of that sunset.
It's magnificent.
It's absolutely amazing. We were all gobsmacked. And that I didn't use any filters in taking that photo. Those were zebra by the watering hole. And it came up with all these beautiful colors as I took this picture as the sun was going down. Then we got back to the lodge to find this, all the elephants around just as we were about to have dinner. It was absolutely magical. You can see everybody's taking photos and just standing there going, wow.
What is that a picture of, JENETTA?
Elephants.
Oh, the I see them in the back. I was looking at the blue light in the front. That's amazing.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Just
It
so
is.
special.
Stunning.
Then the next day we were off to Mount Kasagu, and just the camaraderie, people pushing other people on. And can you see how sandy? It's very, very fine sand, that road is. Fine. Just amazing. And Karen managed this with her bike. You know, all the personnel in the background, when they saw her get into that bike at Ziwani, they all shook their heads and clicked their tongues and went, she's not going to get very far. She did all of it on that bike. Never stopped, never wavered. Amazing. Then we got to Tsavo East National Park. That was such a hot day. There's Karen on the left as we took this photo. And after many hours of cycling in hot sun, I mean, I'm going to give you centigrade, but it went up to 34 degrees centigrade. And we couldn't find a tree, and we found the lone tree, and Karen called it the sacred tree. And we are all dying 1,000 deaths under that tree. It was so hot. And we went on to Kalalu and had a night by the river with the crocodiles and the elephants. And then this is us arriving in the final day at Turtle Bay Resort. That's the arrival. There's Karen wheeling in with a big smile on her dial. And I thought what I would do is show you a couple of videos to finish off. So Karen's video as she was starting, I'll share that to begin with. There we go. I'll get there. There we go.
I don't see it yet.
Not yet,
go.
but okay.
There you go.
Here we go. Here's Karen getting ready to go. That's what he loves.
First, with iron and B vitamins for superpower.
And this is where we stayed. We were, it was just so wonderful. There's hippo and croc in the water over there. And yesterday we had a clear view of Kilimanjaro. Now there's a lot of cloud and rain around it. Actually, a really nice day.
Good
A really nice day for cycling because there's cloud. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
How you doing? Yeah, good. Did you get that ready? Yeah, done. Good spot. Perfect. Can you talk a little bit?
Okay, so that's Mike Webster, one of the filmmakers, and he's trying to get Karen's sound right for the filming there. And then this is, I thought I'd show last but certainly not least, them coming in at Turtle Bay Resort and exhausted but just so happy. Everybody did 475 kilometers. Nobody bombed out. Nobody wanted to bomb out. It was absolutely amazing. And here it is. And we're here at Turtle Bay. We're here. We've done it.
Yeah.
Back up. Look at the back up crew. This is our back up crew. They have been stars. Absolute stars. Here's some more backup crew.
What's that feeling like, JENETTA, when you finally get there?
Say that again.
What's that emotion? What emotions were coming up for you when you got there?
Oh, just like relief, um, like, wow, we've done it. For me, it was the fact that we had such an amazing team, such amazing camaraderie, and that people had achieved exceptional results when in normality, if they hadn't been in this environment, they would have been telling themselves it was impossible to do, and they did it. They actually did it. I think that was the big thing, was people had achieved, they weren't fit. I mean, Cheryl, the other filmmaker, she traveled down by car with me with Karen's bikes. And she was saying, I'm not fit enough for Kilimanjaro next week. And by the time she'd finished these 5 days, she went, I'm fit enough for Kilimanjaro now. It was amazing. It's the end of the film. There you go. How's that?
Wow. Congratulations. What an experience.
It really was special. And everybody was saying, we've got to get The World and His Wife next year, because it may appear costly, but what they got to do and the backup and support. I was in those backup vehicles all the time. And Chris's attention to detail for people's safety was exemplary. So we knew exactly what everybody was doing at any one moment, and he encouraged everybody to travel in twos, so that if they did get separated, they had each other, but there was always a backup vehicle behind a group of people, always. So the safety standards were amazing, and I mean, I know people's lives have changed phenomenally having done this safari, and they're going back and saying, you have to do this if you want to change your mental health status or enhance it, and to have an experience that you'll never experience again. It's a once in a lifetime experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely sense the tremendous amount of growth, and just thinking you can't do something and then you get to do it with this other group of people you don't know in an incredibly beautiful environment.
Exactly. And everybody, of course, by the time of 5 days, they knew each other very, very well. And I guess they'll be friends for life. It's just amazing.
JENETTA, well done you as always, and I thank you for all that you put into everything that you do. It is, people don't understand how much effort, how much time, how much money, how much passion goes into what it is that you put together, and then it's over and you come back and you have to regroup and recap and start again, because now the gala is coming up. So I really do salute you and honor you for everything that you're doing.
Well, thank you. And Dr. Jacalyn, I salute and honor you too, by being part of all of this on this platform. It's so inspiring to be able to get it out there more and more. And this platform is an ideal one because of its ethos and content. It just synergizes so beautifully. So thank you too.
Thank you, JENETTA. We are at the end of our program for today, our episode. Please let people know how they can reach out to you, who can get involved, and what they can do to get involved.
Well, anybody who'd like to help us, we'd be very, very happy to have you help us in anything, any skill you have. No skill will be too little. So if you would like to be part of that, that would be wonderful. We also have a fundraiser. Actually, there's a fundraiser this week because Karen's gone on for World Jenny's Day, and that's for next week, to cycle up Mount Kilimanjaro with her ice trike, also not suitable for that terrain. She is beyond amazing, with a team and with the filmmakers. But you know, if you would like to, we really could do with a lot of financial support right now to make a difference, to change those conversations around depression, and very skillfully. And we've got, if you visit our website at worldjennysday.com. There's a lot of information there, and there's also links to be able to donate, because every single pound, dollar that you donate is going to make such a difference. We've got a legacy with World Jenny's Day that's bigger than Jenny and me. It's going to make phenomenal change around the world like nothing else ever has. And if you'd like to be part of making that change and being that change just by donating £1 or £5 or whatever you feel you can, that is what will make the difference. So please do go to our website. There are links there to donate. There's more information about Jenny, me, World Jenny's Day itself, what we're doing this 10th of October on World Mental Health Day, and even more about what Karen's doing this week up Mount Kilimanjaro. Just amazing feats. And that's what this whole thing is all about. So we would be very, very grateful for every single pound or dollar that's donated. And thank you.
Thank you so much, JENETTA. Thanks for being here. And I hope you're getting some rest, because you really have been putting yourself out there so much. So, well, I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Okay. Lots of love.
Bye. Lots of love. Bye for now. And please do reach out to JENETTA. Please do help assist. You know, it feels so good when you help other people. And JENETTA really has put her heart and soul into this, as she does everything that she does. So I just want to share one update, which is that we have a new show starting today, and it's called the Super Number One Best Perfect Podcast. And it's starring Keith Saltoyanis. He's doing his own show. He's a writer at National Lampoon. He's a best-selling author, and he's the founder of the school Improv LA. He's also the author of this book, which the Improv Mindset. I've been reading, getting a lot of value. Improv is for everyone. So we all follow our little rituals and the routines that we have. But when we get out of our way and just use the Improv Mindset, I think there's a lot of value to be said in that. So please do join us again today. That's at noon Pacific time, 2 p.m. Central time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. British Summer Time, and 9 p.m. Central European Time. And as for the other time zones, I don't know. Please check on your time zone converter. All right, we're signing off for now, and we will be back momentarily with Talking Heads and Caroline Heward. So please do stay tuned for that. Bye for now.